Good morning, turkeys. I hope you're doing well. By now, your research on your animal should be complete. You should have researched one North Carolina animal. You should have learned about its body structure. You should have learned about its habitat. You should have learned about its food needs. You should have learned about its life cycle. You should have learned some things about its movement. You should have tried to find some information about how it communicates, and then you should have gotten some interesting or fun facts. When all of that is done, you are ready to set those notes aside because we're going to need them for writing later on. And today we are going to transition into researching a little bit more about our animal's habitat. So you need to think about, where does your animal live? Does it live in the ocean? Does it live in of North Carolina? Does it live in the wetlands of North Carolina? Does it live in the forest of North Carolina? Does it live in the grasslands of North Carolina? Or does it live in the mountains of North Carolina? And you're going to find some books to learn just a little bit more about that environment. You can start in Pebble Go if you like. Once you go into Pebble Go, go to the animal section and you'll see some books on animal habitats. Miss Pruitt sent you there for some of her lessons. Or you can come over under the activity side here and see these cute little critters here. If you click on that, it'll bring up a book list that's suggested for you to use in Epic Books. So there are books for the ocean habitat. It'll come up. There are some books for ocean habitat that I thought would be good for you to look at. There are some books at grassland habitat that I thought you could look at. There are some books for the forest habitat, the wetland habitat, and the mountain habitat. So when you go into Epic Books, you would just type in, let me get back to Epic Books. You would just type in the title of the book, A Forest Habitat, because that's the habitat that my animal lives in. The cardinal lives in a forest habitat, and I can see both of the books, A Forest Habitat here, and then Life in a Forest. I'm going to start with this book today. And what I'm going to do is, as I read the book, I'm going to think about the habitat. I'm going to think about, how does the habitat support the creature? I'm going to think about, what does the habitat look like? And that's really the most important part of today's work. In fact, if you want to hold off on reading the book until Monday, I am okay with that if you just really want to look at the pictures so you have a good understanding of what that part of North Carolina looks like where your animal lives. So this first one here, I can look at the heading, what is a habitat, and then I can start reading, because I want to do a little bit of both. I want to look at the pictures and I want to do some reading. A habitat is a place in nature. Plants live in habitats. Animals live in habitats too. Some animals make their homes in habitats. Living and non-living things. There are living things in habitats. Plants and animals are living things. There are also non-living things in habitats. Rocks, water, dirt, and are non-living things. So I'm going to look at this picture. I can see there's a nice river with a little bit of a waterfall, and I can see lots of trees, just like we find here in North Carolina. I also see that there's a bear, and there is a little bit of a rocky area. Now I can look and see that this is going to tell me everything that they need can be found in their habitat, which is really true. But I'm just going to look at the picture. So I see a squirrel sitting in some leaves. I see some cute little foxes poking out of their den with shrubs around them. Here I can see in the forest habitat, I can see some trees, some moss-covered area, old leaves on with a bunch of trees behind it. I see this cute little porcupine hiding up out of those flowers. I can see sometimes there's snow, like in the mountain part of where we have forest, there would definitely be snow. I can see the different types of trees that are in the forest area. We have trees that keep their leaves all year long, evergreens, and then we have deciduous trees like oak trees that lose their leaves in fall. I can see that there's the forest floor, has all kinds of critters on it. So there's the bear sitting on the ground by the tree. And this is an illustration showing what the forest floor looks like, with worms and bugs underneath all of the leaves and the logs. I can see that trees have sunlight filtering through them, and that's part of that way that the trees get what they need out of that habitat. And then it talks about some of the forest animals are in there and how they use the environment, like birds and some bobcats might go up into trees, some more things on the floor. So we're just really going in and kind of getting to know and really deeply familiarizing ourselves with the habitat of our animal. And then when you're all done and you feel really good, like, okay, I got a pretty good idea there, I'm going to go look at the other book because I just really want to get an idea of what does my forest habitat look like. And quickly click through this book. So here I have a really good picture of a forest with a river going through it. I can see some other examples of what the forest looks like there's lots of green stuff growing low to the ground with the tall trees, some dead trees laying on there, what the same place looks like in fall, winter, and spring. I can see that trees are really tall in the forest and create another layer of that habitat, the canopy, the very tops of the trees. Here you have a good diagram showing what this habitat looks like. There's a canopy, the tops of the tree, the understory right underneath where most of the branches are, then the shrub layer, and then the forest floor. Some of the different leaves that you might see in different parts of the world in the forests. So now I have a pretty good idea of what it looks like. So I'm going to get a piece of paper and now I'm going to take some time to draw my habitat and I'm going to try to show the things. I'm going to try to show the canopy level of the forest and the understory level of the forest, the shrub level of the forest, and then the forest floor. I don't have to worry about putting animals in there. Today, I just want you to draw what the habitat looks like. We will worry about putting your animal in it later. So today, I'm going to go ahead on my paper. I'm going to draw the floor of the forest. I'm going to start putting some tall trees up. I'm going to show the canopy. So I'm just quickly sketching here just to show there's the canopy, the tall trees, the forest floor. I can put some lower shrubs down to show that level because that's where, like my bird, the cardinal, would be up here some, but they also like to go into some lower shrubs. I can show a river coming through it if I want to. So I'm just going to show some key features of my habitat. And then if you have crayons and markers available, take some time to color it and make it look really nice. Then all you have to do for your seesaw activity is snap a photo of your picture, upload it in. You don't even have to comment on it if you don't want to. If you want to explain your drawing, we would love for you to hit the microphone button and record, but you can just take a picture if you want to. I would spend some time on this, boys and girls. Please don't rush and just scribble and get something done in less than 1 minute like I did. I'm trying to be fast to make the video short for you. Take some time. Use the book. Find a section of the book that you really think represents your habitat. Like I was kind of using this one in my mind. This was the picture I was kind of looking at to show what the habitat looks like. Use a picture to help you figure things out. If you want to, you can label some things. Like I might want to label canopy up at the top so that we know that that's one of the layers. Enjoy the activity. Take your time on it. Color nicely and neatly. Take your time to draw nice and neatly and then upload the photo in. If you have any questions about this activity, drop into our office hours and we'd be happy to help. Have a good afternoon.